Welcome to the third in the series of moving the mouse. We've got a program, and what it does is it asks you to enter X, and I'll say minus 222, and I'll say minus 15144. When you take it to the other corner, it'll turn around and it'll move in and say, hello, I like Snap. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say save as, and I'm going to change the name to A1 mouse dash dash space A1 mouse, and I'll say save. Okay, so if I go to open, you should say I have A0 mouse, which is shared because it's highlighted in A1 mouse. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a new sprite. So this sprite, this little arrow, is a new sprite, and it makes it a red arrow. And let's add a costume to the sprite. So I go to the paper icon, I say costumes. Takes a couple seconds to load. I drag this up. I'm trying to open the window. This is very annoying. Alright, so it's not opening up. So I'll just okay, so sorry for the delay. Let's choose an apple for a sprite. And since it's already there, I'll say cancel. So now I've got a sprite which has its own code area. Okay. I want to make the apple a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go into scripts, and let's say control. Now we're going to also use the M key, but I'm going to change the code. When M key pressed, and I'm going to go to looks, and let's make this a little wider. And let's make it half as big. So we can change the size. So when I press M now, see the apple got bigger and the mouse is asking for X. So I say 99, 99, turns around. All right. So now let's go back to the mouse. Oh, have to go back and change the name. So we're going to call this sprite Apple. Okay. All right, so instead of asking it for an X position, I want the mouse to move toward the apple. So I'm going to pull apart this, and this code. Oh. We're all kind of mixed up. All right. So let's get rid of this whole space key. Is when we press the space key. Remember, once I delete it, it's gone unless you have a save version, but it's gone in the present version. So now instead of setting X to the answer, Let's go to sensing. And let's get this block that says costume number of something. So I'm going to change the right thing to Apple, and I'm going to say X position of Apple. Now I can get rid of the answer and set X to X position of Apple. And okay, now I'll show you something which is a nice feature. If I put my mouse on a block and I right click it and I say duplicate, I get another copy of the block. So now I'm going to change the set Y pose to Y position of Apple. I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to drag this out. And then I'm going to save it. So when I hit the M, it's going to go to X position and Y position. It's going to wait. It's going to point toward the center, and it's going to move 100 steps and say, I like snap. So let's try this. So this is pretty cool. I think this is kind of nice, so let's try it again. Move the apple down here, move the mouse here. I just kind of was there. Hit M again. All right. Now, let's go to the apple. And when M key is pressed, I'm going to introduce a loop. Loops are very important in programming, and this is going to be a forever loop, which means whatever in the block is going to do it over and over and over again. And now I'm going to introduce another concept called an if. And so we're going to try this. We're going to say if sensing and if touching Tom's the mouse, I'm going to go to motion, and I'm going to say go to random position. So let's see what happens. So if the apple is always going to be checking to see if the mouse is touching it. So let's save this. Maybe we'll try it in full screen. I'll be very brave. Okay, it's pretty close, but I don't want the mouse to move once it's on the apple. So I'm just going to have it go to the X position of the apple and wait 1 second and point toward the center. But to make it even more interesting, instead of having go to, I can say glide. So he's going to glide to the position of the apple, and he's going to take 2 seconds. That gives you time to see it move, and it makes the animation a little bit more fun. So let's save this and try this. Okay. Except I want him to point toward the apple when he glides. So I'm going to stick this in, and I'm going to say point toward apple. Then he's going to get the X and Y position of the apple. He's going to glide to it, then he's going to point toward the center. And when the apple sees that the mouse is touching him, the apple's going to run away. All right. Okay, so let's look at what we have the code. When I hit M, first thing the mouse is going to do is point toward the apple. Then he's going to get the X and Y position of the apple. The X is how far he is left and right, and the Y is how far he is up and down. And then he's going to wait 1 second, and then point toward the center. Now, to make it even more fun, we can put this in a whole block of code in a loop, in a forever loop. So let's see what happens when he does that. And let's go full screen. So I hit M. Now you've got a program that the mouse chases the apple moves away. So the mouse is always chasing the apple. So this is kind of a fun program. And we hit the stop sign. So this is some very simple code that does something kind of interesting. When I hit M key, he's going to point toward the apple. He's going to get the X and Y position of the apple. He's going to glide to the apple. He's going to wait 1 second, and he's going to point toward the center. And the apple is just forever I was going to do a sound, but maybe I'll do it in another video. The apple is just always seeing if he's touching Tom, and when he does, he goes to the random position. And so this is kind of a small but complete, interesting program. I'm going to stop now, and I think I'm going to start another series, and I'll see you in the next lecture.